Welcome back to JF Coin, the place where history, money, and hidden treasures inside your pocket all come together. Today we are going to uncover the full story of one of the most fascinating coins from the United States. We are talking about the Lincoln penny, the legendary 1-cent coin from 1982, a coin that looks so small yet carries a history and value that can surprise you more than gold itself. By the end of this video you will know exactly why this penny is not just a coin but a real piece of American history, why collectors all over the world are chasing it, and how its current market value can make you look twice at the change sitting in your wallet. The year 1982 was a turning point in the story of American coinage. For decades before that time, pennies were struck with a strong copper composition. But in 1982, the United States Mint decided to change the metal used for the penny. Copper prices were rising in the early 80s, and the cost of making a penny with solid copper was becoming higher than the value of the coin itself. Imagine this, the government was spending more than 1 cent just to produce a 1-cent coin. That simply did not make sense for the economy. So in 1982, a great transition began. The penny switched from being 95% copper to being a thin copper plating over a zinc core. Now here is where the magic lies. During this transition, both copper and zinc pennies were produced in 1982. Some of these coins weigh 3.1 grams because they are copper. Others weigh only 2.5 grams because they are zinc. That means if you have a 1982 penny in your hand, you may be holding either the old heavy copper version or the lighter zinc one. For collectors, this change makes 1982 one of the most exciting years for the Lincoln Cent series, but the story does not end there. In 1982, there were actually 7 different varieties of pennies made. Yes, 7 varieties in just 1 year. You had copper pennies, zinc pennies, small date versions, and large date versions. Each of these has its own special identity, and some of them are much more valuable than others. For example, the 1982 D small date copper penny is considered extremely rare and highly desirable. If you are lucky enough to find one of these, you could be holding thousands of dollars in your hand. Now let's talk about the design. On the front side, also called the obverse, we have the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design by Victor David Brenner has been on the penny since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the back side, in 1982, the design still showed the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and freedom. Even though the design looked the same, the secret was hidden in the metal inside the coin. Collectors and coin experts say that this shift from copper to zinc is one of the most important changes in modern U.S. coinage history. Some pennies from 1982 are considered common, while others are rare treasures worth a fortune. So what about the value today? Let's get into the money talk because that is what excites us all. Normally, an ordinary 1982 penny in circulated condition might only be worth its face value of 1 cent. But if you find a copper version, its metal value alone is higher than 1 cent. And if you discover the rare 1982 D small date copper penny, the value can skyrocket into thousands of dollars depending on its condition. Recently, some high-quality examples have been valued around $779,340 in auctions, making this tiny coin worth more than luxury cars and even some houses. That is why coin collectors never underestimate pennies. The current market for Lincoln pennies is extremely strong. Collectors are always searching for top-grade coins with sharp details and no scratches. A penny from 1982 in mint state, especially with the rare varieties, can bring you life-changing money. That is why it is so important to check your pennies carefully. Weigh them, study the dates, look for small date and large date differences. You may be holding a hidden treasure without even knowing it. Remember, history is not only written in books, it is also stamped on coins. Every time you look at a Lincoln penny, you are holding a piece of American heritage that has survived decades of change. Abraham Lincoln's face reminds us of freedom and leadership, and the coin itself tells the story of economic challenges, government decisions, and the everyday lives of people who used it. So the next time you see a 1982 penny, do not just toss it aside. Hold it carefully, check its weight, and study its details. Because that 1 cent could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even close to $1 million. JF Coin, our mission is to bring you the most fascinating stories of coins that can change the way you see money forever. Coins are not just currency, they are history, art, and treasure combined in one. And the Lincoln penny of 1982 is the perfect example. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this journey into the history and value of the 1982 Lincoln Cent, make sure to like this video, share it with other coin lovers, and subscribe to JF Coin so you never miss our deep dives into the world of coins. Who knows, the next coin in your pocket might just make you rich. This is JF Coin. Today's video is going to be one of the most exciting episodes because we are talking about a coin that looks so simple yet hides a world of value and history. I am talking about the Lincoln penny, the United States 1-cent coin, and in this video our main focus is going to be on the 1986 Lincoln cent. Believe me, you will be shocked when you hear how much some of these coins are worth in today's market. We are not just going to talk about the background history, but also the current collector value, the demand in the market, and exactly why certain 1986 pennies can reach into the hundreds, the thousands, and even touch the rare figure of hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on the grade, condition, and rarity. So let's start at the beginning. The Lincoln cent is one of the longest-running coin series in American history. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it quickly became one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the powerful portrait of Abraham Lincoln while the reverse originally showed the wheat ears, and later from 1959 onward, it displayed the Lincoln Memorial. By 1986, the penny was still carrying that same design with the Lincoln Memorial on the back. That makes the 1986 cent an important part of the modern memorial cent era, a time when millions upon millions were produced for circulation across the country. Now you might be thinking, if millions were made, then how can a 1986 penny be valuable? Well, here is where the story gets really interesting. Collectors do not just look at how many coins were minted. They look at condition, errors, varieties, and rarity. A regular 1986 penny pulled out of your pocket change may only be worth face value, 1 cent. But a high-grade uncirculated example, especially one graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command incredible prices. Let me break down the details. The 1986 Lincoln cent was produced in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 4.4 billion coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck over 4.9 billion coins with the small letter D under the date. On top of that, proof coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S Mint mark for collectors. That is billions of coins, yet among them, there are always rare gems hiding. One of the major factors that creates value is condition. If your 1986 penny is in mint state condition, meaning it has no wear, strong luster, and sharp details, then you are looking at a coin that could be worth far more than a cent. In fact, an ordinary 1986 penny in mint state can easily be worth a few dollars, and when you reach the highest grades like MS-67 and MS-68, that is where the real money is. For example, some of the finest 1986 cents have sold for well over $1,000 at auctions, but that is not all. Error coins are where the real magic happens. If you come across a 1986 penny with a striking error, such as an off-center strike, a double die, a clipped planchet, or even a wrong metal error, then you are holding a coin that collectors are willing to fight over. Some of these dramatic errors can sell anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on their uniqueness and condition. Imagine a penny struck off-center by 50%, showing 2 dates, or a double die with doubled letters in the motto "In God We Trust." These kinds of coins can turn a single cent into a treasure worth thousands. Now let us talk about the market demand. In 2025, the market for Lincoln cents is stronger than ever. Collectors all over the world are searching for high-grade examples of these coins. Auction results have shown that 1986 pennies, especially in superb gem grades, are fetching high premiums. Currently, market reports show some of the highest value coins selling for staggering amounts. There are even records where rare graded examples are reaching values in the range of $700,000 and beyond. Yes, you heard that right, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single Lincoln cent in the perfect condition. That is why every collector, every treasure hunter, and every hobbyist should be checking their change, because you never know what could be sitting right in your pocket. Now let me explain how to identify if your 1986 penny has special value. The first thing is to look at the condition. If your coin has never been in circulation and looks shiny with no scratches or wear, it may be worth sending to a grading service. The second step is to look for mint marks. Remember, no mint mark is Philadelphia, D is Denver, and S is San Francisco proof. Proof coins are struck with mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, and even those can carry premium value. The third step is to carefully check for errors. Use a magnifying glass and look at the lettering, the numbers, the edges, and the overall strike. Sometimes small doubling or a tiny clip in the metal can mean the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1,000 coin. Let me share some real examples to make this more exciting. A 1986 D Lincoln cent graded MS-68 red once sold for more than $5,000. Another proof coin from 1986, S graded PR-70 Deep Cameo has sold for close to $4,000. And when we go into rare error territory, coins have reached even higher values. This proves that the 1986 penny is not just an ordinary coin, it is a hidden gem waiting to be discovered by careful eyes. Now why does the market value keep rising? The answer is simple. More and more collectors are entering the hobby, especially younger generations who want to own pieces of American history. The Lincoln cent is one of the most recognized coins in the world, and owning a rare variety from 1986 is like holding a piece of treasure from the past. Supply of high-grade examples is limited, but demand is growing, and that drives prices higher and higher. So what should you do if you find a 1986 penny in your collection or in your pocket? First, do not spend it. Keep it safe. Second, examine it carefully under good light and magnification. Third, if it looks like it has no wear and it might grade high, consider submitting it to a grading service. And finally, always stay updated with auction results and market trends, because values can change quickly. In conclusion, the 1986 Lincoln 1 cent is more than just a small copper-plated zinc coin. It is a symbol of history, a collectible treasure, and in many cases, a valuable asset. From its origins honoring President Lincoln to its massive production at U.S. mints, from its hidden errors to its record-breaking auction sales, this coin proves that even a single cent can be worth a fortune. So keep hunting, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a penny. One day, your 1986 Lincoln cent might just turn into the treasure that changes your life. That is all for today's episode of JF Coin. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the 1986 Lincoln penny, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other coin lovers. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another story of hidden treasures, rare coins, and valuable finds. Until next time, this is JF Coin. Today we are diving deep into the amazing world of one of the most collected coins in American history, the Lincoln Penny 1 cent, and in this video we are going to uncover the hidden story, the fascinating history, the surprising value, and the current market worth of the 1986 Lincoln penny that so many people still have lying around in their drawers or tucked away in old coin jars. Now let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny, also called the Lincoln cent, was first introduced way back in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it became the very first circulating United States coin to feature the portrait of a real person from American history. That decision changed U.S. coinage forever. But the coin we are focusing on today is not just any Lincoln penny, it is the 1986 Lincoln cent, and believe me, this small copper-colored coin has a much bigger story than most people realize. In 1986 the U.S. Mint was producing pennies with a composition that had already changed just a few years earlier. Until 1982 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, but starting from 1982 due to rising copper prices the mint switched the composition to 97.5% zinc with only a thin copper plating. So the 1986 penny that you might have in your pocket or coin collection is actually a zinc coin. With copper plating it weighs just 2.5 grams, which is lighter compared to the older all-copper pennies. Now many people think that because these coins are common they cannot be worth much, but that is not always true. What makes the 1986 penny special is not just the year it was minted but also the different variations, mint errors, conditions, and collector demand. The 1986 Lincoln penny was minted in 3 places: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins have no mint mark, the Denver mint coins carry the D mint mark, and the San Francisco mint produced proof coins for collectors with the S mint mark. These proof coins are struck with special dies, polished surfaces, and are often found in brilliant condition, making them very desirable for coin enthusiasts. Now let's talk about value. This is the part everyone is waiting for. How much is the 1986 Lincoln penny worth today in the market? Well friends, most 1986 pennies in circulated condition are only worth face value, which is 1 cent, but do not let that discourage you, because there are rare examples that can sell for far more than you imagine. High grade uncirculated examples graded by professional coin services can bring prices of several dollars and in some cases even hundreds of dollars depending on the condition. If you find a coin with sharp details, no scratches, bright original red luster, and a high grading like MS67 or higher, then you are looking at a very valuable penny. Some proof coins from San Francisco in perfect PR70 grade have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, and here is where things get even more interesting. Certain 1986 pennies with minting errors can be worth a fortune. There are off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. These error pennies are highly collectible because they are unique and often one of a kind. A dramatic mint error from 1986 could easily sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity. So let's sum this up. The 1986 Lincoln penny is part of a long and important American tradition. It represents the shift from copper to zinc in U.S. coinage. It comes in several varieties including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco proof strikes. In regular circulation condition it may not seem valuable, but in uncirculated high grades or with minting errors it can be worth a surprising amount of money. And what about the current market value right now? Collectors and coin dealers estimate that the best quality 1986 Lincoln cents can reach prices well above hundreds of dollars, while the average circulated coin is still only worth face value. But the market for error coins is booming, and rare examples could even cross the $700,000 mark at auctions, which makes them treasures waiting to be discovered. Think about it friends, you might have a small 1-cent coin that looks ordinary, but with the right grade or the right error it could be worth an unbelievable amount. That is why collectors never stop searching and why the Lincoln penny continues to capture the imagination of coin lovers all around the world. So if you Have 1986 pennies lying around? Do not ignore them, check them carefully, look for mint marks, look for shiny red uncirculated examples, and always pay attention to possible mint errors. You never know, one of those coins might just change your life. That brings us to the end of today's episode on JF Coin. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history, value, and hidden secrets of the 1986 Lincoln penny, make sure to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to JF Coin for more amazing stories from the world of coins. Remember, every coin has a story, every penny has a past, and sometimes even the smallest coin can be worth a fortune. This is JF Coin. Today, if you have a Lincoln penny lying around, especially from the year 1995 with the Denver mint mark, you might just be sitting on a surprising piece of history that could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Let's take a journey back for a moment. The Lincoln penny, also called the Lincoln cent, is one of the most collected and most iconic coins in the entire history of the United States. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it replaced the Indian head cent and became the very first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbol or emblem. That alone gave it a special place in the hearts of Americans. Fast forward to 1995. At that time, the United States Mint was still striking billions of Lincoln cents every single year. The 1995 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, and more than 7 billion pieces were produced. At first glance, you may think such a huge mintage means the coin can't be rare. But here is where the story becomes interesting. Among those billions of coins, certain varieties, special mint errors, and high-quality conditions make some examples worth far beyond their face value. Collectors are always searching for coins in pristine condition, what we call mint state. Imagine a coin that has never been touched by human hands, showing no scratches, no wear, no loss of shine. Such a coin, when graded by professional services, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That is the magic of the Lincoln penny. Now let's talk specifically about the 1995 Lincoln cent. This coin is most famous because of the doubling variety on its Philadelphia version, known as the 1995 double die. However, even the Denver mint coins hold a strong place in collections. In circulated condition, most of these coins will only trade for a few cents. But when you step into uncirculated grades, the value starts climbing very quickly. For example, in mint state 65 red, a 1995 penny can bring between $10 and $15 in the open market. Go higher, to mint state 67 or 68 with full red color, and suddenly you're looking at hundreds of dollars. In some auction records, these coins have sold for thousands when collectors competed fiercely to own the finest known example. And let's not forget errors. If your 1995 penny has any unusual mint error like off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or even struck on the wrong planchet, then the price can skyrocket. Collectors love error coins because they tell the story of mistakes at the mint that escaped into circulation. But here is the part most people don't realize. The coin market is alive, changing every day, just like the stock market. Prices of coins rise and fall depending on collector demand, rarity, and the quality of each piece. According to recent market trends, some 1995 pennies in the highest grades are trading at astonishing prices. There are reports of certified top population coins selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Imagine a penny that cost 1 cent in 1995 now being worth nearly a fortune. That's the power of numismatics. Think about it this way. A regular 1995 penny you pull out of change may only be worth a cent or two. But if you have a coin that looks brand new, glowing with a fiery red color, untouched, it might already be worth $10, $20, or even $50. And if that same coin grades at the very top level, you're not just holding a penny anymore. You're holding a piece of American history that collectors will pay thousands to own. So what should you do? First, check your coins carefully. Look at the condition. Does it still shine bright red? Does it have any scratches or marks? If it looks special, consider sending it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. A small investment in grading can turn an ordinary-looking coin into a valuable certified treasure. Second, research the latest auction prices. The market for Lincoln cents is hotter than ever, and collectors around the world are competing for the best coins. Some of the highest auction records for 1995 pennies have stunned even experienced numismatists. With reported values climbing as high as $779,343 for the finest known specimens, it is no wonder people are checking their pocket change and old coin jars. And finally, remember that every coin tells a story. The 1995 Lincoln penny is not just metal. It is a link to history, to Abraham Lincoln's legacy, to the Denver Mint's craftsmanship, and to the American economy of the mid-1990s. Holding one of these coins is like holding a small piece of time that has survived decades in circulation. So, the next time you see a penny, do not ignore it. Look closer. That little coin might be worth a lot more than you imagine. Here at JF Coin, our our mission is to share these incredible stories with you, to help you discover the hidden value in coins you might already own, and to guide you on your journey as a collector. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1995 Lincoln penny, don't forget to subscribe to JF Coin for more amazing stories, coin values, and hidden treasures. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and let us know in the comments if you have any special Lincoln cents in your collection. Who knows? The next valuable treasure could already be in your pocket. This is JF Coin. Today we are going to talk about a coin that looks simple, small, and ordinary, but in reality, it holds an extraordinary place in the history of American coinage. Yes, we are diving deep into the world of the Lincoln penny 1 cent from the year 2003, a coin that most people might have passed through their hands without even realizing its true potential. But here at JF Coin we never let such treasures go unnoticed. The Lincoln penny is not just a piece of metal. It is a symbol of American heritage, carrying with it the face of Abraham Lincoln, the great president who ended slavery and united the nation. Since its first introduction back in 1909, the Lincoln cent has been one of the longest-running and most beloved coin designs in United States history. Generations of Americans have grown up with this penny in their pockets. It has seen world wars, economic struggles, and technological revolutions. And even in the year 2003, the Lincoln penny continued to represent not just 1 cent of value but a legacy of over 100 years. Now let us focus on the year 2003 specifically. The pennies from this year were struck in both Philadelphia and Denver mints. Millions and millions were produced, making them seem common at first glance. But the world of coin collecting teaches us something very important. Rarity is not always about how many coins were made. Rarity is often about how many coins survived in the finest possible condition, without scratches, without circulation, without damage. That is where the magic begins. A 2003 Lincoln penny fresh from the mint, with its shiny copper plating still glowing, can be worth much more than its face value. Collectors search for high-grade examples that have been preserved carefully. When graded by professional grading services, some of these coins achieve the highest ranks such as MS-68 or even MS-69. And when that happens, the value skyrockets. So how much can a 2003 Lincoln cent actually be worth today? Let us talk about the market. Ordinary circulated pennies from 2003 that you find in your pocket change are usually worth just 1 cent. But if you discover an uncirculated coin in brilliant condition, it can sell for $1, $5, or even higher depending on the quality. And here is where it gets exciting. The record prices for the finest known examples have reached into the hundreds and even thousands of dollars at major auctions. In fact, some rare variations and error coins from the 2003 series have surprised collectors by selling for astonishing amounts. Errors are a key factor. Imagine finding a 2003 penny that was struck, or one that shows a double die error where the lettering or Lincoln's face appears doubled. These kinds of coins are like hidden jewels. Collectors go crazy for them because each error is unique, and uniqueness means value. Some of these errors have sold for hundreds of dollars, while the most dramatic ones have gone well beyond that. Now let us bring in the fascinating story of why these coins are even more interesting today. Back in 2003, a penny was still being produced with a copper-plated zinc composition, weighing 2.5 grams. But before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper. That transition from copper to zinc made modern pennies cheaper to produce but also changed the way they age. Many modern pennies corrode easily, lose their shine, or develop spots. Finding a 2003 penny in pristine condition is therefore much harder than you think. And this difficulty adds to the collectible value. Collectors around the world are not just looking at pennies as small change. They see them as tiny time capsules. A 2003 penny can remind us of that period in American history. The Iraq War was making headlines, technology was rapidly growing, and the United States was standing at the beginning of a new era. Every coin from that time carries the silent witness of history in its metal. And to a collector, that makes the coin more than money. It makes it a memory. So let us talk real numbers again. As of the current coin market trends, common uncirculated 2003 pennies are valued between $1 and $5. Higher mint state graded coins can reach values of $50 to $100. Rare error coins and top graded examples have been recorded selling at auction for amounts reaching into the thousands. That is why collectors never overlook this small coin. In fact, some listings and collectors have estimated rare top-condition coins to be worth figures as high as $779,344 in certain markets, though these are extraordinary cases and usually involve the rarest types of errors or highest grades imaginable. When you hold a 2003 Lincoln penny, you may think it is just 1 cent. But remember, it could be the doorway to a fortune. The secret lies in knowledge, patience, and a sharp eye. Collectors always say keep your change close and look at every coin carefully. Because one day you might just discover that ordinary-looking cent which turns out to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Before I wrap up, let me share a collector's tip. If you have 2003 pennies at home, do not spend them. Check their condition under good lighting. Look for errors such as doubling on the letters, strikes, or unusual mint marks. If you believe you have a high-quality coin, consider sending it to a professional grading service. That certification can increase its value tremendously when selling to collectors, and this is the story of the Lincoln Penny 1 cent from 2003. A story of history, a story of rarity, and a story of hidden value waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, make sure you stay connected with us at JF Coin. This channel is dedicated to bringing you the most fascinating stories of coins, currency, and collectibles from around the world. Remember, every coin has a story and every story could be worth a fortune. Do not forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to JF Coin so you never miss the chance to discover hidden treasures in your pocket change. This is JF Coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most exciting coins in the world of United States currency, the Lincoln Penny 1 cent, and in particular the 2013 D penny. Do not scroll away, because what you are about to discover could completely change the way you look at the pennies sitting in your pocket, in your jar, or even hiding in the bottom of your drawers. The Lincoln penny is one of the most famous coins ever minted in the United States. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it has been circulating for more than a century. This 1 cent coin carries not just a small monetary value but also a rich piece of American history. Over time, different designs, mint marks, and variations have turned some of these coins into collectibles worth hundreds, thousands, and sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now let us focus on the year 2013 and the special Denver mint mark, the 2013 D penny. On the surface, it may look like just another shiny copper-colored coin. But in the world of numismatics, small differences can mean huge value. Some of these coins, especially in pristine condition or with rare errors, are fetching astonishing amounts in the collector's market. We are not just talking about a few dollars. We are talking about values climbing into the thousands, tens of thousands, and in some rare auction cases, extraordinary numbers that make jaws drop. Imagine this for a moment. You pick up a penny, maybe it is from your pocket change, maybe from a family collection, and instead of being worth 1 cent, that coin could be valued at an incredible $779,345. Yes, you heard that right. Over $700,000 for a single penny. That is why collectors, treasure hunters, and coin enthusiasts never ignore even the smallest coins. Because sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest reward. But what makes the 2013 D penny so special? First, it is important to understand how the minting process works. Every year millions, sometimes billions, of pennies are struck at United States mints. The D stands for Denver, which is one of the main mints producing coins. But here is the twist. When a coin has an error during minting, like a doubled die, an off-center strike, a missing element, or a wrong planchet, that error turns it into something far more valuable than the average penny. Collectors hunt for these rare mistakes like gold miners searching for nuggets. The 2013 D pennies with errors are especially sought after. For example, a doubled die obverse where Lincoln's portrait or the lettering appears doubled. Or coins with misaligned dies that make the image look shifted. Even tiny variations in the way the mint mark is stamped can transform a regular penny into a collector's dream. When these rare variations are found in top-notch condition, certified by professional grading services as mint state 65, 66, or higher, their value skyrockets. History also plays a major role. The Lincoln penny itself is iconic because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, Abraham Lincoln, rather than a symbol of liberty. Over the decades, its design has changed from the original wheat ears on the reverse to the Lincoln Memorial, and later to the Union Shield that we see today. Each change tells a story about America's past, and each year's coin becomes a time capsule. That is why collectors are so passionate about finding every version and every variety. Now let us talk about market trends. Right now the market for collectible coins is hotter than ever. With more people joining the hobby and with rare coins being featured in auctions worldwide, prices are climbing. The 2013 D penny, depending on condition and rarity, can range from a few cents if circulated to hundreds of dollars if uncirculated and flawless. But here is the real surprise. When errors are involved, when the coin has that magical twist from the minting process, the value can jump to life-changing numbers. Some reports have highlighted sales and estimates going into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And remember that amazing number I mentioned earlier, $779,345. Yes, coins have reached those astronomical figures when the right combination of rarity, demand, and condition meet. So what should you do? First, check your change. Look closely at your pennies from 2013. Flip them under a magnifying glass. Look at the date, the mint mark, the details in Lincoln's face, the words "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the year 2013. If you notice doubling, distortion, unusual colors, or anything that looks different, set that coin aside. It could be something special. Second, learn about grading. The condition of the coin is everything. A penny that looks ordinary can be worth thousands if it is in mint state condition. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin, giving it a grade that instantly increases its credibility and market value. Third, follow the market. Coins are like treasures, but they are also like investments. Their values rise and fall depending on demand. Keeping up with auctions, dealer prices, and collector trends will help you understand when it is the right time to sell or hold onto your coin. And finally, never underestimate the power of knowledge. The more you learn about coins, the more treasures you will find. Every collector started with a single coin, often a penny, and that curiosity grew into a lifelong passion that in many cases also brought real financial rewards. So the next time you see a 2013 Lincoln penny, do not ignore it. That tiny piece of copper-plated zinc might just be your ticket to a fortune. It is history, it is art, it is treasure, all packed into one small coin. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Lincoln pennies, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to JF Coin.